Oh my gosh, can you guys hear me? I'm so sorry. Thank you so much. Sorry, live. I was just talking this whole entire time. So, Zoom, so sorry. There's a ton of material. My son is napping. This is going to go great. We're going to dive in. I want it to be interactive. This chapter's on initiative. We've talked about belief. We've talked about passion. Now we're talking about initiative, which I kept saying action, act. And I love that. Surprise, I am the one that's going to talk about this chapter because my mom's flying home from New York. And I love that I was asked to do this chapter because this, like everything in my notes, I was not taking notes for anyone else other than myself because I devoured this chapter. So let's go ahead and get started. And I want to start with the story first with C.C. Myers. John Maxwell talks about how there was like a catastrophic earthquake in, I think, 1994? That shut down the Santa Monica Freeway in California. And it's a huge freeway, obviously. You know, California is one of the busiest states in America. But they said every day that this freeway was shut down, it lost $1 million because of, all the people that it probably brought in and out of the city. And so the state of California hired contractors to see who could get this job done fastest. And C.C. Myers bid for the construction job for $14.7 million. And he told, the state of California that he could finish in 140 days. And they put a penalty that if you finish in 141 days, every day that you finished late, it was a $200,000 fine. But every day that you finished, early, you got a $200,000 bonus. And so obviously they all put their heads together. They made a game plan and they told them, hey, we plan on finishing this in about 100 days was their goal and their what they told everyone, their assessment. But what's crazy is that they started their project. They had two 12-hour shifts. So they had crews on 24/7 every day of the week, as long as possible. And what they realized is that halfway through their project, there's the volume. Okay, let me mute you guys. I'm sorry. This is just, but if you guys want to talk, please, please, please unmute yourself so that we can all be interacting. Okay, there we go. But what's crazy is that they realized how hard they were working their crews, and they realized, okay, we're dying out. People are getting tired. Our job's not getting done. And what they did is they leaned in and they hired more hands, you guys, and they revved up how many people they brought on board. They brought in more material. They brought in more contractors. And what's crazy is that they finished this huge job in 66 days. Versus the 100 days that they had projected versus the 140 days that they had been given. And they made $14.5 million on this project. So what that related to me in Arbonne, and what I love is that it's happening on the 18th of this month, is that we're halfway through the month. There is still 2 weeks left in August that, like, what does your month look like right now? We do a goal setting the first of the month, the middle of the month, and then we into our month and wrap it up. But we're in the middle of the month, so assess your business. Where are you at? Do what C.C. Myers did whenever he was looking at his crew. Are people getting tired? How are your new business builders doing? Are people hitting their $2,500 building block? Are they bringing on new business builders? Are they duplicating? Are they learning the few skills that we need to be successful? And I just remember this from Mo Boger, who spoke at our VP retreat. Whenever things get tough, like if business is maybe not going in the direction that you wanted it to go this month, you're maybe not as close to your goal as you thought you would be, instead of going, you know what, it's okay. There's only, 12 days left in August. What can happen in 12 days? I'm just going to sit back. Instead, lean in. Hire more hands. Bring in more material. Be like C.C. Meyer. And goal set with your upline. Get with your upline if it's not happening, your month's not happening like you want it to, and strategize. But I love what Mo said. She said, lean in. Everybody tends to, when things get hard, lean out and maybe just sit down. And it's in these times that we need to act and lean in. And I promise you, you won't be upset with where you end up at the end of the month. So I kind of love that analogy. That's what I thought of. But you guys, if you have the book, follow along. I am just going to read what spoke to me and kind of hit the highlights. So if you have pen and paper, I do kind of have it in a notes section. But John Maxwell, you guys, he gives us insight on initiative. And he says, initiative is the first step to anywhere you want to go. And of course, I'm preaching to the choir because we're all getting on here. So we're taking that first step of plugging in. But where you finish in life isn't determined so much by where you start, but whether you start. And I love that in Arbonne, you guys, we don't have to have any requirements. Like, you don't have to have a degree. You don't have to be anyone special. What we tell people whenever we're sitting down with someone getting started is, I just need a good work ethic and desire, which is a why. And if you have those two things, you guys, you can be successful at this business. And what keeps you initiating and acting and moving forward is your why, which I talked about. So that was the first one. And I want to also say, you guys, I don't know how many Arbonne people saw the Rachel Hollis documentary, but that documentary, I feel like, goes perfectly with this chapter. And I'll talk about it maybe at the very end if I mix it up in my notes. But if you haven't read The Girl Wash Your Face, I haven't read the whole book yet. I got started on a couple pages before I started diving into this book. But the documentary and the book, I think, go hand in hand. And there are so many like just little nuggets that fit perfectly with Arbonne, and especially about initiating. So number 2, you guys, initiative closes the door to fear. We all have fear. You guys, no one is invincible in this business. No one walks in here, even the best of the best, the most successful that there is in Arbonne. We all have fear. The difference is fear controlling you or you controlling your fear? And honestly, there's not much to fear in Arbonne. Like I was just telling a new consultant, you have to have tough skin in this business. And I don't say that cold, with a cold heart. It's not easy being told no, but you guys, so what? We tell people no at Starbucks. We tell people no at McDonald's, Brahms, wherever you eat. Someone asks you, hey, would you like to add this to your order? No, thank you. Like, that's all that people are saying to us in Arbonne is no. And honestly, you guys, half the time people don't KNOW what they're saying no to. And so all that to say, just so I don't get off on a tangent because there's so much on here, we have to have tough skin in this business, and fear the right things. Fear not being able to make enough income to stay at home with your babies for the rest of your life if that's your goal. Fear always, being a single mom or a single dad because your significant other is always having to be gone and working. Fear something happening to your significant other or the breadwinner in the family and you guys not being able to sustain the life that you have. Don't fear people telling you no, and don't fear what people think about you. Like I know in the Rachel Hollis movie, she said, it doesn't matter. It's none of your business what someone thinks about you. And, for me and for my family, it's what the Lord thinks about you. And I know you guys have all heard, all of us talk about this, but what is your purpose? And our purpose here is to love other people and show them that there is a better way. And Arbonne just so happens to be that vehicle. So on page 52, the only way you guys get better is to fail and to learn from your failure. And we know the Fail Forward book, Feel the Fear, Do It Anyway. And the thing that I picked up on one of the Rachel Hollis, quotes in the documentary is her husband said, do something that you will fail at so that you can have that failure in your toolbox. And I was thinking all the successful people in Arbonne, it's not because they did Arbonne perfectly and got to the tip top. Like my mom has probably failed more than anyone in this business, but guess what? She has learned every single time from her failure and gotten better every single time from her failure, and decided to fail forward. So then number 3, you guys, initiative opens the door to opportunity. And we all know the definition of luck is when opportunity meets preparation, or I have action or initiative. And I know in the Rachel Hollis documentary, and I'm sure she says it in the book, and she said, I just worked freaking hard. And she said freaking. She's like, I've just worked freaking hard my whole life. And that's what you guys, we have to do in this business is just work hard. But what I love about Arbonne is that our work is really not that hard, you guys. Like, we ask people if they would want to sit down and hear about our products, if they would mind hearing like a quick 20 minutes, 15, 20 minutes about our business. We get to show up to people and wash their face, teach them nutrition, give them life, give them hope. Our work is not hard here, but luck is whenever opportunity meets preparation. And you guys, we're all prepared. Like, I'm preaching to the choir whenever I speak to you guys. So number 4 on insights on initiative, initiative eases difficulties. Where am I at? Right here. Life is difficult, you guys. That's not most people's problem. Their response to life difficulties is. And I love that, you guys. Life is either happening to you or life is happening for you. And we can't always control what happens in life, but we can control our fight. And I know so many, like I see all these faces on this Zoom, and I know all of you are in here and in the fight. And that is what we can control in life, is our response. The things that simply come to us are rarely the things that we want. I belly laughed at that. Hi, Ernestine. To have a chance at getting what we desire, you guys, we need to work for it. And I just put on the side, like, get sick and tired. Get sick and tired of your situation enough that you get up and you do something about it, that you gain that fight. So then let me see what else I have here. I have Tom Barrett, occupational therapy. You guys, there are lots of situations in life. There are lots of hardships. There are lots of things that are going on in this world that if you let them could be debilitating. They could be depressing. They could weigh on you. But what I have always been or had to be reminded of, and what we have always read, is, you guys, occupational therapy. Get up and do something for someone else. And it's the last thing you want to do. And I think it's Emily Martin or Shelley Nelson that always says this: do, then feel. And that's the hardest thing. Like, it's so easy to say do, then feel. But no matter what your situation is, if you're just like, you're down in it, you're in your pit, you're in your rut, and you stinking know it, but you can't get yourself out, you guys, do something that moves you forward, especially in your Arbonne business, then feel. Even, and I won't even get into examples because I could go on a tangent. And then nothing is more fatiguing than an unaccomplished task hanging over our heads. And hello, I was guilty of that. Like, I put that in all caps, I bolded, I put 100 exclamation points underneath it. I tend to learn lessons the hard way. And that's not something that I'm like sitting here proud of. It's kind of like an AA. Hi, my name's Lindsay, and I learn things the hard way. And we don't have to. No one on here has to, because we have the way paved for us in this business. All we have to do is follow the recipe, plug into the calls, plug into the Zooms. But I know, maybe I can get a show of hands. Has everyone just let the thought of doing something that they know they need to do bog them down, make them tired? Thank you, Sherry Brown. Thank you, Audrey. And it's just sick. Like, you think about it and you just want to, like, oh my gosh, why am I letting this be something bigger than it really is? Just do the next right thing. Make an ask, pick up the phone, make a phone call, send a text, something like that. But that was huge to me, because I have been so guilty of letting something hang over my head. And the longer we let things slide, the bigger they appear. And the accumulation of all the little things we've done ends up creating this mountain. Like, I know in the accountability groups that we have, I think we have 100 different accountability groups going on right now. But in Arbonne and in our team, we do 3 ask a day. And I know there's been like several instances where people have said, oh, I let 5 days go by without making my 3 asks per day. Today's Saturday. I have a full list of things to do, but I'm going to make 15 asks today. And not in a negative way or in a mean way, but the truth of the matter is, no, you're not. Like, we didn't do it 3 little times, 5 days in a row. You're not going to do it 15 times in one day. So instead of letting that build and be ugly and weigh on you and be heavy, just do the little things every single day that add up to the big thing. And then number 5, you guys, initiative is often the difference between success and failure. So I laughed at this little like parable. He said, a man who was employed by a duke and duchess in Europe was called in to speak to his employer. James, said the duchess, how long have you been with us? About 30 years, your grace, he replied. As I recall, you were employed to look after the dog, correct? Yes, your grace, James replied. James, that dog died 27 years ago. Yes, your grace, said James. What would you like for me to do now? And I laughed at that because, again, you guys, I have been guilty of having to be needed to be told what to do. Don't be like James. Like, don't let the dog that you were, sent to watch be dead for 27 years and you still be sitting there like, what do I do? And the great thing in Arbonne is, you guys, is that we always know the next thing to do. So I'm not sure any of my topics are going to relate to Arbonne, but hopefully anything I talk about, you guys may get a nugget out of. Nearly all people have good thoughts, ideas, and intentions, but many of them never translate those into action. Doing so requires initiative. Talent without initiative never reaches potential. And I think my mom shared a couple calls ago. In our family, and this is, I'm not boasting or anything, but I have the athletic talent compared to my brother. And I have been super guilty my entire life. I mean, still to this day, people ask, you didn't go and play college sports? And I said, nah, not really. I didn't have the initiative or the want or the desire, but I had the talent. Where my brother Blake had to work super, super hard for all the talent that he had in his sports. And he's an amazing athlete. It's not that he's not, but he just had to go put that work ethic and that desire behind it. And he went on to play college ball, and he played it well. And that's just what I keep thinking, is that in this business, and that's why I was so excited to read this book. This is kind of how this book club came about. This book was offered up at our VP retreat. My mom was training out of it. And in all my years of being around Arbonne, you guys, I've been around Arbonne since I was 12. I've never heard of this book. And again, I kind of laugh. I think it's God. And I think it's because he knows my heart is prepared. But he also knows that I have done a lot of my life, you guys, on just sheer talent. Someone logged in. Hope that didn't kick us off. Hang on, you guys. Sorry. Okay. And so I love that this book, where, again, not that I was sitting in my position, but this year I've just been reflecting, okay, I have the business that I have, but how do I get better? How am I a better leader? And I just knew there were specific things that I needed to hear and to learn. I just didn't know what, but I knew in my heart that there were specific things. And this entire book was written for Lindsay Tinsley, because talent is not enough in this business. And I hate to be the one that breaks it to you, but if you have been pretty successful up until this point in your life, you guys, you've got all that it takes, but it's going to take every single thing that you have to be successful in this business and to lead from the front and to lead others, because it is no small task to be brought into this business. And I hope that doesn't overwhelm anyone, but you guys, if you were brought to this business, A, it was for a reason, but B, you're here to turn around and help everyone else that is in your life and in your community. And that's a huge responsibility. So why not get in here, roll up your sleeves and learn the skills, become the leader, become the person that you need to be able to lead well. And not to say that you have to be perfect, but it's going to take more than what you came into this business with. And it's only taken me 7 years to understand that. So let this be something to you guys. Learn it now. So those are all the insights on initiative, you guys. So then he goes and identifies people who lack initiative. And so as I was reading through this, don't let this beat you up. Don't be like, oh gosh, that's me, and be a victim in it. Be like, ooh, yes, I have been guilty of that. Identify it, write it down if it's a huge star. This is where I want people to interact on the live or on the webinar. You guys feel free to unmute. But he said, when it comes to initiative, there are really only 4 kinds of people. Number 1, people who do the right thing without being told. I thought I put on the side, that's a black and white person. That's a person of character. That's my brother. That's my mother. Just do the right thing without being told. Number 2, people who do the right thing when told. Sometimes guilty of that. tell me what to do. Like, I'll do it and I'll do it all out, but tell me what to do. Number 3, people who do the right thing when told more than once. And number 4, people who do the right thing no matter what. Anyone who wants to become a talent plus person needs to become the first kind of person. Why doesn't everyone do that? I think there are several reasons why. Number 1, he says, people who lack initiative fail to see consequences of inaction. And you guys, I wrote down, that's a skill we must develop. Begin with the end in mind. Not everyone possesses that skill. I know my mom, just because I'm looking at her, and we all know this, we love her, we adore her for it. She has lived her whole life with the end in mind. And sometimes you have to have that be shown to you. Like, some people can't even see that. And I know a lot of my generation, Gen Y, yes, we're dreamers and we can imagine things, but we live in the now. And so I love that, yes, Christine, we can develop that skill, but it is definitely a skill. Let me get on here in my notes. People who lack initiative begin with the mind as a skill. You can dodge the responsibility, but you cannot dodge the consequences of doing so. And whenever I saw that on page 56, I thought of Charles Stanley. He says, you reap what you sow later than you sow it, you reap what you sow more than you sow later than you sow it. And so, like, the task hanging over our head that we're not accomplishing and that we know we should do, it's hanging over there. We can ignore it and act like it's not. But you guys, the consequences of not doing your simple 3 asks a day are in a week, in 2 weeks, in 3 weeks, in a month, in 90 days, you will have no business if you're not continually asking to bring new people on. And so your life is even happening, or never mind, that's off. Number 2, people who lack initiative want someone else to motivate them. Oh boy, put a star by that one. I've been guilty of that one before too. And then that was it. Let me see here. I believe you don't motivate people. What you do is you hire motivated people. Then you make sure you don't demotivate them. Ooh, that one hurt me. If you want to get ahead, you need to light your own fire. Lead from the front is what I have. So again, I have been called to a position such as this. I have a team that is looking up to me on how to lead them, how to do Arbonne. Don't demotivate them. Like, I've brought in motivated people, but have I ever been guilty of demotivating someone because I have not been taking my own initiative? Ouch. That's what I put in my notes. And then number 3, people who lack initiative look for the perfect time. And it's as simple as, you guys, there's no such thing as perfect timing. When people say timing is everything, yes, but there is no perfect time for you to begin your Arbonne business. So begin now. All worthwhile endeavors in life require risk. And what I have is, I forget what book was it that we were reading in, but this was like a huge light bulb moment to me. There's pain in life, and there's either the pain of risk or the pain of regret. The pain of what could have been because you sat there and you ready, aim, versus ready, aim, fire. And like I said, sometimes we may fail, but the risk and the pain of failure, I promise you, is greater than the risk of, I wish I would have. And I think it's here that it says, for many people, the tragedy isn't that life ends too soon. It's that they wait too long to begin it. And it just makes me sick to my core. Like, that has also been what has been like on my heart and just in my gut, is I don't want to. And my husband, I'm so grateful for my husband, Cody, because you guys, because I have not always been the most initiating person and the person to, like, my personality is just, I don't know, maybe codependent, or I just think of all these things. Like, my brother's a very independent person. Like, if you want him to come to family dinner and he doesn't want to because he had other plans with his wife, he's like, you know what? Sorry, not doing it. I am so wrapped up in family and obsessed with my family that if you say, hey, we're doing family dinner, I drop the world to be at family dinner, because those are the people that I love the most, that I want to be around. And let me see if I can wrap this back up. But now that I have my own family, I think it's why it's like in my gut. And my husband is always so sweet to remind me, like, Lindsay, make sure you're living your life. Like, make sure you're doing what you want to do. You're doing the things every single day that are going to feed you, your life, your business, your purpose, your mission, not someone else's. And not in a selfish way, but make sure you're living your best life, you guys. And that starts with making every day great. And that starts with making the right decision every single day. And especially as I have Brooks, like, I don't, like, there's just not all this pressure, but just, I want to live life well so that he can look at his mom and go, my mom did it well. Like, I look at my mom and I go, she's lived her life well. Like, I want to live a life like her. I want Brooks to be as proud of me as I am as proud of her. And I want him, more importantly, to have the skills and the successful traits to help him go be successful so that he can turn around and raise a family. So that has just been like, oh, my gut and my heart's desire. So I love that this book has come into my life at this time. And you guys, it takes initiative to create the life that you want and to have the life that you've always dreamed of. So there is no perfect time. Like, act now. Let's see here. Number 4, people who lack initiative like tomorrow better than today. I'm sure we've all been guilty of that. Like, I'll do it tomorrow. You guys, tomorrow is never easier. Do it today. And I laughed at the little, the story. He said, I think he said or someone walked into the store and there was a sign that said, tomorrow we'll give away everything in the store. And what's funny is that you come back tomorrow and the sign says, tomorrow we'll give away everything in the store. And so they never give away anything in the store because tomorrow keeps happening. And you guys, that is like I think the quicksand in our business is, I'll do it tomorrow. And just do it now. Get it over with. Rip the Band-Aid off so that you can then go and live your day. And I have kind of had to set those boundaries, like help myself get there and set those boundaries in my life. Like, you know what? I'm going to send my 3 asks. And then I even like tempted myself. Like, I'm not going to think about Arbonne for the rest of the day. I set my 3 asks. That's what I have to do to be successful every single day, is those 3 little asks. And then I'm not going to think about Arbonne. Well, guess what? I thought about Arbonne. I shared Arbonne whenever I went out and about in town. But guess what? I did it free. And I did it because I wanted to and because it felt good, because I had done what I needed to do and I got that weight off. So let's see here. Where am I at? To be honest, we've all been plagued with procrastination in some areas of our life. If something is unpleasant, uninteresting, or complex, we usually tend to put it off. To put your ideas into action is the most difficult thing in the world. And I thought, we say this all the time, the hardest part about getting people into Arbonne, you guys, is to get them to sit down. Is to get them to understand that the quick little coffee appointment, the Zoom appointment, the 15, 20 minutes, the presentation that you're doing for them is worth them hearing about. Because we know that in our Arbonne hearts, that once people hear about this, they will come into your business in one form or another. So the hardest part is starting, or the hardest part is getting people to sit down in front of you. But that's it. Like, that's the heart of Arbonne. That's what's so beautiful. So then here are some suggestions to help you as you strive to become a talent plus person in this area. Praise hands. Number 1, accept responsibility for your life. To move the world, we must first move ourselves. Show me those who neglect responsibility for their own lives, and I'll show you people who lack initiatives. I think it's Tom Barrett that says, I can't poor baby you because all I will raise up is a bunch of poor babies. And I think of my mom, how she's tough on all of us, like every single one of you. She has probably had one of those hard conversations with you, but it's because she loves you. Hang on. Okay, sorry, I thought I heard baby. Oh, sorry. So then 59 and 60, you guys, I devoured. Like, I don't think there's a few sentences that are not highlighted. But I think I've already said this. You can't control life always, but you can control your fight. We cannot wish our way to success. We need to take responsibility and act. And I put ... decide to work freaking hard. Like, just decide you're going to work hard every single day. And I promise you, you won't be upset with where your business and where your life ends. Examine your reasons for not initiating. And so If your deeds are unsuccessful, seek the reason in yourself. So I put seek your upline. Like if you're asking and you're getting no's, seek your upline. If you're at presentations and you're not getting sales, you're not getting bookings, you're not getting business builders, those are the three main things that at every presentation that we do. Seek your upline, seek help, you guys. Be coachable. If you lack initiative, the only way you will be able to change is to first identify the specific problems. Are you in denial about the consequences of not taking initiative and responsibility for yourself? So this is a funny thing. Like I'm letting you guys in on all my personal like secrets. I became an adult with my own mailbox, and I thought, oh, if I don't open a bill, it just doesn't happen. Like I don't have to pay it. Like if I can't see it and I don't know about it, like it'll go away. Not the truth. I'm not in debt or anything. It's just a funny like, ugh, if I open this envelope, I know it's going to be my dentist asking me for money. Or I know it's going to be the hospital asking me for money. You guys, open the envelope, pay your bills. Do your Arbonne business. Make your ask. Let's see here. Are you waiting for others to motivate you instead of working to motivate yourself? I kept trying to find a motivation quote, you guys, but I just didn't put enough time into it. It's either inspiration or motivation. Lasts about as long as deodorant, or I think the saying goes something like that. Like no one can motivate you for a lifetime. No one can inspire you for a lifetime. That's up to you. Your life is up to you. Are you fantasizing about tomorrow instead of focusing on what you can do today? What's important to you? Separate legitimate reasons from excuses. An excuse puts the blame on someone else or something outside of you. Excuses are like an exit sign on the road to progress. They take us off track. Know this. It is easier to move from failure to success than from excuses to success. Eliminate excuses. And I think we all know what are excuses. And I put over here, this is where I have a lot of stars. And I put a challenge to everyone, including myself. You guys just decide right here and now on August 18th, you're going to be coachable. Go to your upline and ask them, do you see me making excuses in my life? Ooh, that's hard. Like, I'm going to go to my mom and be like, hi, Annabelle, what excuses do you see me putting in my business? And so that is my challenge to you guys. Just decide you're going to be coachable. It's going to sting. You're not going to like what you hear, but ask. And I say your upline, like, don't go to your family. I think your family is great, but for this specific, like, little challenge, go to your upline and say, what excuses do you see me making for my business? That way you can be aware and identify the excuses that are holding you back. So number 3, focus on the benefits of completing a task. Let's see here. I think I've talked about all that. Okay, importance of aligning your priorities with your passion. To become effective and make progress in any area of talent or responsibility, you can't spend your value on time on unimportant and unnecessary tasks. So as if I did not already know that already, having a baby is like, hello. So he eats, lives, and breathes from me. So he's priority. I'm priority number 1, so I can keep myself up and, healthy and functioning. Baby is number 2 priority. But then guess what? Arbonne is my number 3 priority because it is what helps us sustain this lifestyle. It's what helps us to pay our bills, keep food on the table, keep us a healthy, happy home. And I think my mom said this on the last call or the first call. For a season, you guys, don't just get rid of, slash what is not feeding your family or your business. Because if you need Arbonne that desperately, you don't have time for anything else but what feeds your family and what feeds your business. And it is for a season, you guys, because then once that season is over and you have created momentum, which that is the first secret to success that he tells us in the first seconds of this chapter, is momentum is your friend. As soon as you build that momentum and you get the duplication in the team and the activity going, then you can maybe add a fun thing in here or there. But until you get what you need, you guys, slash what does not feed your family or your business. Let's see here. If you do procrastinate about a task, it is not, okay, no. It's a necessary one. Oh yeah, if you do procrastinate about something, it's usually a necessary one. Like that should be your trigger. I know Rachel Hollis in her documentary talks about like identify your triggers that feed your habit, because we live our life on habits. Our whole life is one habit. So when you can identify the triggers, you can then change the action. So same trigger is shoot, you know what? I'll make my ask after Brooks, after I feed Brooks his bottle. And that's kind of like do or die, but it makes you kind of ask make your ask quick. Like I need to put my 3 ask in so I can feed my son. And I think Kaylee Aldridge or Sherry Nickel talked about that. Or before I can do the dishes, I'm going to make my 3 ask. So if you recognize that you're procrastinating about something, most likely that thing you're procrastinating is something important. So recognize that. Let's see here. Start moving forward and act decisively. Act wisely. Let's see here. Number 4, share your goal with a friend who will help you. I put in the side, not family. Not family, because your family loves you so much that they would never want to see you suffer. And I think about like whenever I was delivering Brooks and in labor, I'm pretty sure if my mom and Cody could have taken the pain away, they would have. Let's treat your Arbonne business like the most miserable thing you've ever felt in your whole life. People that love you will try to take that away from you because they love you. So ask your upline, or tell your upline your goals, and let them be your accountability partner, not necessarily your family, because they won't want to see you, have to go through hard things. No one achieves success alone. And then share your goals and dreams with people who care about you and will encourage you and assist you in accomplishing them. It means taking a risk, because you will have to be vulnerable and sharing your hopes and ambitions. And you guys, we're vulnerable every day whenever we share Arbonne. And I was telling a new girl this, and it brought her to tears, and it hurt me as her friend and her upline, because being told no is hard. And especially in this small town community, like we all have this in our own little communities and friend groups. Like you don't want to be talked about, and we know all the sayings, you guys. Don't take advice from someone more messed up with you. Are they paying your bills? Are they offering you a better lifestyle if they're telling you no to Arbonne and that you shouldn't do Arbonne or that you're crazy? And it doesn't make hearing no any easier, but keep your eye on the prize, you guys. And someone else's opinion of you is none of your business. Don't give someone in the cheap seats a high, what does Rachel Hollis say? Don't give someone in the cheap seats a high price on your opinion or dreams. So number 5, break large tasks down into smaller ones. Yes, this is the story of my, how I think and how I operate. 40,000 as a regional vice president is overwhelming. But if you keep breaking that down, that's just 16 people doing 2,500. What is $2,500 broken down into? That's 8 to 10 ASVPs. So break it down as small as you need to. And I know in the Rachel Hollis documentary, she talked about make a list, because so many people, they have so many ideas in their head that they never get started on one thing to help them accomplish that goal. They just have all these ideas rambling around. So she said, make a list, like a to-do list. And she said, this is your stepping stone to the goal that you want to accomplish. But when you make that list, then go through and pick what is the one thing. And in her documentary, she says, pick the easiest thing. And I don't want to say that so that people are like, oh, the easiest thing is I'll follow up with a PC who orders $500 every month. That's easy, but that's not going to move you forward in your business. The one thing that will move us forward in our business is new, is sponsoring, is business builders. So pick the one thing on your list, because she also talked about how we can only do one thing well. And so if we can only do one thing well, and there's some overachievers on this call, like I think of my mom, she can do 100 things well. I am kind of that person that can do one thing well and get good at that one thing and then add something else. And in that documentary, Rachel, she said, I'm asked this question all the time, is if I focus on one thing, what happens with the rest of my life? Like, do I have permission to let the rest of my life go? And she said, no, absolutely not. Because whenever the tide comes in, all boats rise. And I loved that. And I think that's so true. And that's the secret cycle, success cycle that happens when you focus on your business, when you focus on your health. You do the 30 days of healthy living. You decide to get intentional and serious about your business. the rest of your life rises. Guess what? The laundry, you're busier than you've ever been, but guess what? The laundry gets done. The house stays clean. You're in full activity. You're in full momentum. Your family life, your marriage life is good because you're feeding those priorities that feed you in your life. So I love that. When the tide comes in, all boats rise whenever you're working, towards one thing that will do something for you in your business, in your life. And then number 6, and I think this is there's a number 7. Number 6, allocate specific times to tasks you might procrastinate. Just to keep it quick and simple, I heard the average person spends 90 minutes on social media a day. Like, limit yourself, take it off of your phone, delete the app if you need to, and only give yourself, whatever, the morning and the night, and use those 90 minutes towards your business. I put on here, though, to use your time effectively, we must be prepared, you guys. So start incorporating the 15 minutes of success, because don't say, okay, I'm going to get intentional about this hour-long window that I have because Brooks is taking a nap, and then never get anything done in this little moment of time because you're not prepared with the names and the numbers and the contacts. And you guys, with our phone and Facebook, you can scroll and send Instagram messages, Facebook messages if you can't find names and numbers. But we must be prepared to use that little window of time properly. And for me, I know, you guys, my best time, like whenever I am just like, I rock my business, is right when I wake up. Like, I am freshest right when I wake up. And it depends. Like, sometimes I can tell, okay, like, do I need to wake up? Like, do I need to do my quiet time first, then do my Arbonne Ask? And some mornings I do, but some mornings I'm like, oh yeah, baby, I am invincible. Satan is behind me. Like, I got up as, the best me. That's when I send my ask. And I know that about me. So what is it for you? Like, I'm not a night person. At night, I have every intention of maybe reading, and I can't even hold my eyes open. Figure out when you are your best you and do your activity then. And then number 7, you guys, remember, preparation includes doing. And to keep it simple, you guys, do it now. That's the last sentence of this chapter. Do it now. Because I promise you, you'll just feel so much better. And that really is it. I think I've talked about every single thing from here on out. But yeah, just do it. So you guys, that's it. I'm sorry it was 42 minutes. And I spoke for the first 5 minutes muted on Zoom. But if you guys have any questions or comments, I would love to hear comments. What spoke to you? I love it. I want to hear it all, you guys. Anyone guilty?
Me.
Hi.
Hi. Thank you. You did awesome. It was really good.
Thank you, dear.
It ripped some Band-Aids off. It was good.
Yes.
Thank you.
Hi, Devin. Okay. I love that this spoke to you guys. That's so awesome. I've never done a book club call before. But I love you guys. Go have an amazing Saturday. Have an amazing Sunday. Have an amazing week. Let's have an amazing August. And let this year be it. And let just identify that burning passion in your stomach and that churning in your heart, you guys. Because I promise you, I think Rachel said it. It's one of my first things I wrote down in my notes in the documentary, is we all have gifts. It's just, what did she say? I'm going to butcher it. I don't know. She said you can be like, I don't know. I'm going to butcher it. Never mind. I love you guys. Make it a great week.